Hello, today is Friday, 4th of February 2022, and I was about to do like a series on Mars through the houses, and I thought in the light that we are going to be, well, it's Friday for one thing, day of Venus, and secondly, we're also coming very fast approaching Valentine's Day. Let's do Venus through the houses, and what better day to start this than today? So I'm just going to give you the indications for Venus, and then we go on to discuss how it is when it is in your first house. And obviously this is all using a sidereal zodiac, and the condition of Venus will be like, I'm just pretending it's got like no conjunctions, no aspects, just the pure Venus through the first house. And obviously this Venus is going to be completely different depending on whether or not it's in Scorpio or Sagittarius or Gemini, you know, so they're all different. And also the nakshatras make a difference too, because they will definitely refine that. And obviously it's not just nakshatras are 13 degrees 20 of a sign. They have 4 padas as well, so each pada is different again. So there's a lot to think about, but anyway, let's start. So I thought I'd just go through the indications for Venus. So Venus is all about balance. If somebody was to say to me, what would you just say would be, you know, like if you were to give 3 things to explain what Venus is, I would say Venus is about balance, it's about self-love, and it's about good choices. This will be how I would describe it. I wouldn't describe it like what people may think, you know, this that's why people who have got good relationships, and they, even if they were to come out of one relationship, they soon attract another, is because they just got that understanding that they can be generous, you know, and they can see the big picture. So anyway, let's start. So keywords: love, passion, relationship, union, choices, values, obviously the arts, self-love, grace, partnerships, beauty, non-judgmental, generosity in all things, diplomacy, fairness, interaction, family, artistics, and kind of, I would just say things to do with, you know, aesthetics really as well. Fashion, cosmetics, perfume, flowers, paintings, good food, travel, vehicles of any kind. So it could be anything from a scooter, bike to car, or even an airplane. It's pleasant, it's about luxury, it's about charm, sensuality, unconditional love, expressive, social grace and awareness, and it goes on. So, and it's also, I think I would also just add, there is like appreciations of all things and seeing beauty in everything. This is when Venus is quite balanced. And as we know that in the natural zodiac, starting from Aries, it rules the 2nd and the 7th house. So Taurus, which is a fixed sign, and this sign is also earthy. So you know that Venus is obviously a feminine planet. It ruling the 2nd sign of the zodiac. It rules the face and also the neck. So it's about choices, turning right and left to actually see when is a good time to cross the road, if you like. And they know what's good for them, rather than they wouldn't make a choice. A good Venus would not go for somebody who looks good. They would just kind of think, because it rules the natural 2nd house of the zodiac, it's about family. What is this relationship a good investment for me and for my children? You know, for my values, does it add to my values? They wouldn't be straying, even if I don't know, some magical handsome guy or Adonis of a guy, or some Aphrodite will come through. This is really all about that kind of having that value. And and obviously, because it rules the second natural house of the zodiac, it is a feminine planet. When you are gracious towards feminine things, which is like environment, females, women, female energy, women, mothers, and everything else, it naturally helps kind of that respect. It could even be from one woman to other. It doesn't have to be from a man to a man to a woman, and actually from a man to a man. Generosity, being kind, money flows in. So I just want to add here as well that Venus is friendly with Saturn. Venus rules the second house of the zodiac, which is money, resources, and also the money, the savings that you have, money that you have in the bank account. And it's friendly with Saturn, and Saturn rules the 11th house of the zodiac. And so that again is another house of gains, financial gains. So these two planets work together really well, because in a relationship you want to be, obviously, see the beauty in the person, also be there for them during the times that they are sick, they're unwell, growing old together, being a pillar for each other, looking after, having each other's back. And this is the reason why often when people can't find love, it's because they can't love themselves. And what it creates this issue with back problems, because obviously Saturn rules your structure, also there's the sun, but it's like skeletal system. So lack of support. And this is when you can really help yourself by just starting with self-love, doing rituals to really get the Venus in your chart strong. And I always say this, planets that are really fast moving, like Venus, Mercury, Moon, and the Sun, they're really easy to get results quickly out of them. And just be persistent, but always thank God and universe for everything as well. So, and also Saturn is again brings that stability to Venus, and it shows that with time things get better as well in the relationship. So normally when you go into a relationship, the first couple of years are quite easy, and then you go through this more challenging times, because remember, when you get married, the first year is like woohoo. The second year is pretty good, you're helping each other to pay the bills and everything. The third year, so again, it becomes an upachaya, so it's a bit challenging. You have to put more effort into the relationship. And again, the fourth year can bring you more comforts, because you got the accumulation of the wealth. You might just change home to a bigger home, or you might actually buy a home together. And you might have kids after that, sixth house, there could be that you get yourself into debt, all that kind of stuff, basically. And then from the seventh house, you start traveling, all that kind of stuff. But so relationships have also go through all these stages as well. And anyway, let's go back. So second house is all about family. It's your speech. So it's always good to try and always leave the person with a kind word, and because I think people never forget your kindness and generosity, whether it's in words or gestures, something like that. It's always magical, and it's also rules senses with this, something, all those. And I really love it, because my own daughter, she's really good at this. She's very good at explaining, like when she smells something, she can really use all these words to articulate a particular sort of smell or taste or something. It's lovely, very Venetian, that is. It's also to do with what is good for me. And it also rules the seventh house of the zodiac, which is about attraction to the other, and that whole romantic thing, romance and being together, and gets your heart chakra because it rules the heart chakra, so it gets you excited, pumping the blood around your body, which is obviously Mars gets the passion going, and stimulation, interaction, going out, being more sociable, social events, in, you know, as I said, interaction again. And also it rules kind of dealing with other people, being generous and diplomatic and creating harmony with others, and you know, that kind of stuff. And also it's debilitated in the 6th natural house of the zodiac, Virgo, when it's all, everything is on the microscope. You know, you did this and you didn't do that, and last Sunday, you know, you dropped a pin on the floor or something like that. You know, it's just like really being very critical, and just knocking somebody down for something that, you know, does it, okay, some things, you know, you got to say, but other things, you know, just doesn't have to be a big deal really, so you can overlook certain stuff. And just always remember, when you're going to say something, just always remember the good things and balance things out really. And it's exalted in the 12th natural house of the zodiac, which is the house of sex and bed pleasures and good sleep, having that when you put your head down, you're just like rested, you know, it's beautiful. Also, this is the house of devotions, and devotion, God, spirituality, and the bigger picture. So that's another word that I would use for it as well, is devotion. Obviously, Venus will be very different according to, you know, as I said, the situation with it. But if it's normally in front of the sun in your chart, so it will be, I don't mean in the same sign, I mean in front. It will be much more ta-da, I'm here kind of Venus, whereas Venus, if it's behind the sun, it's more introverted, not so extroverted. So anyway, this is the bit about Venus. I'm now going to do through the houses. Thank you for watching. As I'm doing this Venus through the houses, I'm approaching Valentine's Day. It doesn't need to necessarily be because of that. I actually wanted to just tell you, I had this is Michael Mastro's and his wife Robin's book, you know, Making Room for Mr. Right. It could be for Mrs. Right too. And I bought this book because Michael, I mean, he's a fantastic Vastu expert, and he's an architect anyway, so it's just wonderful putting the two together. And he actually did Vastu for my property, and kind of remedied some of the issues, because actually this property has got so many issues you will not believe. But since then, it's been really brought a lot of happiness into my home. So, and this has got a wonderful, obviously it tells you about, more than anything, saying to you that if you want somebody, love to come into your life, you have to make room for it. So if your house or property or your flat or your room is full of clutter, you kind of like, the energy is a mess in your environment. So fix your environment, get rid of anything that no longer serves you, and start making it beautiful. And it gives you lots of different things. It's also got like a full moon ritual thing that you can do. It's also invites you to do intentions and write down exactly the sort of person that you want in terms of like physically, what do you want them to look like, financially, emotionally, spiritually, which is fantastic, really amazing. So it kind of makes you really think about what you want, because I think often people want love, but they haven't really, never really thought about how, you know, what sort of love they want. And I think right now is a really good time to start thinking about what type of love you want, because we have just been through, well, we're still going through a really difficult patch in the world, and what you thought you liked 2 years ago might be very different to what you look for now. So this would be a perfect time now to start thinking about what you would like. So anyway, it has lots of different tips. It's got beautiful full moon rituals that you can do. So amazing. And I just wanted to show you, because I love yantras. It's also got like a yantra for Venus there. which, you know, I don't know if you can actually take a picture of that, and I'm sure Michael wouldn't mind, and just print a few things, few of those, and then start colouring the yantra in whatever colour you like. So, you know, these kind of things reiterate your message of love to the universe, that's what you're looking for. And be open, you know, like do Venusian things, start treating yourself really well, and the universe will start treating you well. Thank you for watching. Wherever Venus is in our chart, we do tend to enjoy, because this is the planet of love and enjoyment, and so therefore whatever these indications of the third house are, it is something that Venus is going to enjoy. This is an upachaya house, so it does grow better with time, and remember that this is a house of efforts, bravery and will. And as such, it does actually, we do get braver, and our ability to actually tell people what we want and how we want it, what we didn't enjoy, becomes much more refined and polished as we get older. And expressing those things at an early age is a little bit difficult. So normally speaking, we do prefer obviously it's also a house of desire, so it's a Kama house, and it's also very masculine as well. So the energy, this house is much more has got more energy to it if there's a malefic in there. And but obviously Venus is a natural benefic, so even if for your ascendant, if it's not a good planet, like for example Pisces ascendant, but nonetheless though it's still a benefic planet. And so it's also a planet of learning, it's a teacher. So some of the things to do with this house are actually in synergy with Venus's energy. It is the natural third house of the zodiac is Gemini. It's a masculine house, and this is a feminine planet, so it does kind of give you a balanced energy in that sense. And I know obviously that changes depending on the ascendant, your third house. However, this is kind of the energy of what is going on. So I'm just going to go through some of the indications of the third house. Some we've already spoken about, so bravery obviously, and courage, self-expression, to say and ask for what you want, putting effort into things, and basically it's a question of like how much effort do I apply to my life is seen through this too. Interests, hobbies, desires, the arts, creativity such as painting, woodwork, performing, singing, your ideas, travel, fixing things, writing and learning ability, just ability to communicate to your needs and desires and get them manifested. Your thinking process, how you learn and how you then use your learnings and your information. It's obviously information and data, it's media, social media, journalism, social interaction. Venus also represents all of the arts, so it's all beautiful things. So this is someone who has beautiful speech, voice, because it's how we express. So in the second house is our speech. This is now how we use that speech to get what we want. And obviously it has an eye for design, because this is a planet that is all about polish and refinement and grace. It's the way we present our ideas to others. So for example, if you're going for a job interview, you will be using your Venusian kind of, if you have this placement, to actually put your ideas across. Self-expressed through hands, beautiful words, dancing, singing, amateur dramatics, aesthetically pleasing. So somebody with this will have aesthetically pleasing web page, beautiful, like beautiful hands. They be painting their nails really nicely. They just, that kind of grace. They probably have got nice hands, or create nice things with their hands. Third house is also self-effort, so a strong third house person will normally enjoy kind of working for themselves. That's one of the things. Third house is obviously self-expression skills that you have too. And also if you have got a sixth house, that's very strong too. This will be somebody who will work for themselves. For example, Libra ascendants, Jupiter rules their third and sixth house. So these are both houses of effort, you know, and service and work and putting that effort in. And it is, so when it's, when say, for example, if that Jupiter is in the third house, they can work for themselves. And they can kind of be very good orators, if you like, story readers, things like that. So for this, just a little kind of thing to just show you. Their hobbies can become their trademarks. So they could be good at dancing, and then they start teaching dance. They have panache to succeed, you know, and they also have grace with friends and siblings. They are receptive with friends, because that feminine energy that's put into a male house, it's like a nice balance of the two, really. And so they have, they can actually market their products or web page, or their kind of the way they teach dance or singing or performing or whatever it is, in a way that actually can help somebody who's a man or a woman, you know, equally be able to appeal to both markets. And they're like a partner, obviously, who has who shares similar interests with them, because obviously they like somebody who's communicative. This is house of communication after all. So they really want somebody who they can do things with, they can travel with, they enjoy cooking together, they enjoy having friends together. They're like a busy life, you know. Third house is a busy life. So if anybody who's got a planet in third house, apart from Saturn, obviously, or K2, because they do sort of suppress it, but any other planet in there would want to be busy. And so they also love learning and exploring. And remember, 12th house, this is 12th houses from the 4th house. So they could also be one of those people who do tend to change houses. I'm not saying all the time, because it depends on the dashas that they run. But some people, when, you know, particularly if it's a movable house, they will move more. But obviously, if third house is fixed, they tend not to move so much. And they obviously means that they can have a lot of female friends, but they can also have a lot of female enemies, because obviously this house is has a 6 and 8 relationship to 6th house. So in that sense, and it's 7 houses away from it, it's 9th house. So their father is quite artistic, quite well traveled, educated. And they also enjoy traveling, and they enjoy being with their father and their family generally, you know, because this is house of travel, learning, and refinement. It's a very refined house. Is you know, they love things that are old as well. So third house could be learning new things, but it's also aspecting the 9th house that could be more traditional stuff that we learn to do with, like history and classics. Even things to do with spirituality, really, those sort of things they enjoy. So actually travel expands that for them. Let's do it for the ascendant. So for Aries ascendant, this will be the 2nd house ruler in the 3rd house. So Venus for Aries ascendant rules 7th and 2nd house. In the 3rd house, it could be that the partner works for themselves, or the person could also be that their work is very much to do with media and social media, journalism, things like that. Or the person, or it could also be that their partner is, or self really as well. It could also be that they are a singer. That's how they earn their money, because obviously 7th house is very, very much to do with work. 10 houses from 10th house. So yeah, it will be in good condition as well, because Venus will be in a friendly sign. And also they could meet their partner on social media, or on a dating site, or through friends. For Taurus ascendant, this will be Venus will be in the third house, so it'll be first house ruler in the third house. So this person will be very nurturing, very likes travel, because also not only Venus is in the third house of travel, but also Cancer is all to do with travel. It could also be that they like writing things to do with female things, or to do with just the whole kind of hormones and nursing, things like that. This person could also be a nurse, because sixth house of service is also ruled by Venus. So a self-employed nurse, maybe even a midwife, a medic, doctor. Very nurturing, you know. Obviously that depends what nakshatra Venus is in as well. In there, particularly in Pushya, will be very much like that. And yeah, so it could be very much like put a lot of self-effort into it. It's obviously, remember, Venus is not really in a very good dignity there, because this is not a friendly sign to Venus. But nonetheless, it could be very much service-oriented Venus. But they could also attract a lot of female enemies, as well as friends and enemies at work. For Gemini Ascendant, third house is Leo, and obviously when Venus goes there, Venus is in it's not in good condition there, because it's an enemy sign. However, it gives them a very beautiful voice, and they'll be very very articulately, eloquently spoken person, very authoritative, but in a nice way. It could be a politician, because politician, you can see politics and royalty, you know, those kind of things through fifth house, going into the third house. So they express their political views and things quite authoritatively. It could also be somebody who's extremely expressive. So this could be a musician, a singer, a producer, scriptwriter, something like that as well. And because of that, they will do a lot of traveling too, because third house is travel. 12th house, which is again ruled by Venus, is also travel, house of faraway lands. And the more they take themselves away from the world, the better their writing becomes. And then we have for Virgo Ascendant, we have, for Cancer Ascendant, then Virgo becomes third house. So this is Venus will be fourth house ruler in the third house, and it's also 11th house ruler. So this could be somebody who's constantly moving as well. Third house is house of moving, 12th house is from fourth. It could also be for Cancer Ascendant as well. They could just like literally they like, because obviously fourth house is all to do with property, land. So there could be somebody who writes about things like that, you know, writes for, say, for example, Zoopla, or these kind of websites that actually sell property, land, things like that. And they also they have big groups of friends that they network with, and they talk, you know, they do sort of speeches for big groups and networks of people like that. And so this also, obviously, for this situation is not particularly good, because Cancer Ascendant, for one thing, it's you know, Venus is not friendly planet for them, and also the third house and 12th house for them, they also not terribly friendly with Mercury, and this is where Venus is actually debilitated as well. So even if they had nice houses, you know, and the detail was fantastic, they won't be happy in there, and there could be a lot of movement of changes of home and things, you know. So, but what, on the other hand, they could also make a lot of changes to their home that could be really nice too, because the detail would be perfect in that sense. For Leo Ascendant, Venus in the third house will be Venus is in its own house. Venus also rules their 10th house. So this is a Venus that's really strong, very strong career in the arts, expression, information, media, that kind of thing. This will be a very powerful person in that arena, and very good status for Venus too. For Virgo Ascendant, the third house Venus will be second house ruler in the third house. So this could be somebody who deals with secret information, secret data. This could also be somebody who sings, who has like a slightly unusual voice. For them, Virgo Ascendant, this is a really good planet, but also goes into the third house, and third house is obviously a difficult house, and particularly for this ascendant. And it could also be that their father is educated in some secret things as well, because obviously it's the ruler of the 8th house, or it could be that the father is slightly a loss, to the person too. And then for Libra Ascendant, this will be first house and 8th house ruler in the third house. So it could be like they don't really have that much connection with their siblings. There could be a lot of changes in their home environment, changes of sort of conditions and how they get on with their siblings and friends as well. Their groups of friends could change, and they could also change their they could learn something and then learn something else as well. So they could have this amazing need to learn more and more things. But this person will be very self-expressive. They would love the truth and speak the truth as such. They could be astrologers for sure. And for Scorpio Ascendant, Venus in the third house, this is a 7th and 12th house ruler in the third house. So it will be in a friendly sign. So it will be like, but it's obviously it gives you a voice which is a little bit like Saturn. The voice kind of gets stronger as the time goes by, because Saturn kind of makes everything, kind of constricts things for a bit, delays things. So they could have slight delay in actually being able to express themselves. They will, however, climb the ladder of work, and even if they work for themselves, because for them, obviously, Venus rules 7th and 12th house, So there's a bit of a loss, they could actually, because they can't express themselves so well to the partner and friends, so they can lose friends and partnerships can go wrong. However, this gets better with time because the condition of Venus there is pretty good. And it gives status as well. So they'll be very recognized for very informative, very honourable speaker, if you like. And whatever they do, they honour it really well. They would be very good to do the right thing. This is Capricorn, doing the right thing, putting the hard work in, and they really do put the effort in for that as well. Then for Sagittarius Ascendant, this will be also Venus is like 6th and 11th house ruler in the third house, Aquarius. So this will be like somebody who works again with females, does humanitarian work. This person more than likely work for themselves and gain money through their own efforts, really. And they have a lot of desire to earn the money, serve the public, be really aware. They might do healing jobs and do things that's for the good of the people, if you like. So it's pretty good in that sense. And obviously, again, Venus is in Saturn sign, so it's a bit, delayed a little bit, the whole thing about work and stuff like that. But as it gets better, it's strong, so it does really work well. For Capricorn Ascendant, this is like their Yogacaraka planet, Venus. 5th and also 10th house ruler, so work, and Purva Punya house, 5th house, very strong house as it rules, exalted in the 3rd house. So this would definitely be somebody who does magnificent creative work, very well recognized and very well respected in the business. So they'll be very successful in whatever they do, whether it's artistic, politics, law, journalism. They're very, very, very strong, very honourable as well. And then we have for Aquarius Ascendant, this Venus will be their 4th house ruler in the 3rd house, and also Venus rules their 9th house. So this is somebody with really strong values, very strong sort of very educated, refined, well-travelled person who could be a lecturer, something like that. You know, they also very independent writers. They could travel quite a lot as well, because obviously it's Venus rules their fourth house, is in the third house. A lot of moving and quite adventurous things that they do. Yeah, so this could be very brave too, because obviously the third house is ruled by Mars. Mars will give Venus the passion to just push ahead, and they probably can put the effort into things braver than other signs, because even though Scorpio is ruled by Mars, but it's more secretive, it's a bit more what do you call it, suppressed in a sense. But in Aries, it's like the energy's out there. You know, they'll be very sporty too. They would want to interact and do things. These are the people who will be like learning a lot. Even when they're running, they've got like audio things going on, they're learning, and they enjoy that. And then for Pisces Ascendant, this is Venus in rules the third and eighth house, in the third house, so it's strong placement for them. This also will be somebody who's always learning things to do with self-help and psychology, psychologist, psychotherapy, did that twice I think, and learning all the occult. They speak all this hidden knowledge, things like that. So it's pretty good one as well, and it obviously blesses their ninth house as well, which is lovely. Okay, that's it. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.